What is going on, travelers? In today's video we are going to do a pre-release analysis guide on Kachina. Now, she is the newest 4-star geopolar in Natlan that we see her running around in her little drill. She looks amazing, especially for exploration. I do need to put a disclaimer, this is early info, so please know that there might be some changes done to her kit. Now, before we get into her build, Natlan characters have a new mechanic called Night Soul Stay after using their skill. This gives them a certain amount of points that has to do with how long they can use their skill, especially while exploring Natlan. And when they are exploring Natlan, they are able to gain some more Night Soul points without ending your skill, so you can keep going with this, well, in Kachina's case, a little drill ride. Now, first and foremost, Kachina is a 4-star polearm geo character that is defense scaling. So let's go ahead and go over her talents. For her normal attack, you're really not going to be using this that much, but let's go over it. It's a 4-hit combo, nothing too special. She is going to scale off defense, and these are attack scaling, so you're not really going to use them. Go over Kachina's elemental skill. She summons Turbo Twirly, the little drill that you see her riding around, and she'll gain 50 Night Soul points off the back. Now, each action with Turbo Twirly will deplete the points. And Turbo Twirly can exist without Kachina, or it can be operated by her, so she can mount it and kind of ride it. Again, like you see in the trailer. Now, when it's on the field, it will hit the ground, dealing AoE geo damage based off Kachina's defense. Now, when she mounts it, it can move very fast, climb, and when you use her normal attack, it will hit the ground, dealing even more AoE geo damage. Now, Turbo Twirly is a geo construct, but it doesn't really have a cooldown because, again, you need Night Soul points to keep this up, and every action's gonna deplete it. Now, for instance, if it's dismounted at level 10, it's gonna do 115% of Kachina's defense as damage. Now, when you mount it, it's going to do 158% of Kachina's defense. So you do get this damage buff when Kachina is on the field, and you could use this as kind of like a main DPS. I'm actually really excited to use her as a main DPS while I have Chiori and Zhongli on the team, and especially maybe another off-field damage dealer. For her elemental burst, Kachina will strike the ground, dealing AoE geo damage based on her defense, and it will create a turbo drill field. The field duration is 12 seconds and the cooldown is 18 seconds. Energy cost is 70. Now, the turbo drill field will increase Turbo Twirly's attack AoE and its movement speed when Kachina is riding it. So what this says is you are going to want to go into her burst and then her elemental skill to get all those bonuses from this field. From her core kit alone, she looks like a pretty amazing 4-star, and especially if we will be getting her for free, which I'm speculating. Now let's go into Kachina's passive. When a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Kachina's geo damage is increased by 20% for 10 seconds, so a little geo damage bonus is pretty great. Her second passive, Turbo Twirly's damage is increased by 20% of Kachina's defense, and this is permanent, so a pretty decent buff for her kit. Now, in Natlan, characters do have some passives that's going to allow you to ride their elemental skills much more when after they deplete the Night Soul State. Now, this passive is more of an exploration passive, which Natlan is all about. Is when she consumes all Night Soul points, she will start consuming Phlogiston, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, while in areas with these devices in Natlan. Kachina can again enter the Night Soul Blessing state, allowing you to explore more with her Turbo Twirly. Additionally, Kachina will consume 90% less stamina when riding Turbo Twirly in Natlan. Pretty interesting for Natlan characters to allow you for exploration. It just is another thing that is exciting about this nation. Now let's go over her constellations. Her C1. When Turbo Twirly is on the field, Kachina will consume crystallized reactions, or when a party member picks up these shards, 3 energy will be restored to Kachina. Alright, so some energy restoration is quality of life for her. Her C2. When using her burst, Kachina will regain 16 Night Soul points. Pretty good to extend her elemental skill. Her C4. When 1 to 4 opponents are in the drill field, active characters will gain 8 to 20% defense. Okay, this is pretty amazing, especially if you main Chiori like I do, or maybe Ito, or even Kachina herself. Her C6, when an active character's shield is replaced or destroyed, Kachina will deal 200% of her defense as AoE geo damage. This can happen once every 5 seconds. I'm assuming crystallized reactions shields count as this, which is quite nice, or maybe even Baizu's shield, which keeps getting replenished and broken. So now, how do we build her? Well, for artifact priority, you are going to want to run her with a defense or energy recharge sands, a geo damage goblet, and a crit rate or crit damage circlet. Now for substats, you are going to want to focus on crit rate, crit damage, defense, and energy recharge. She's your basic defense scaling geo unit. Now for artifact set, we are going to get a new artifact set in 5.0, but you can't pre-farm that, so let's go over what we have. The 4-piece husk is going to be great, giving defense and geo damage. You can also opt for a 2-piece geo and defense set. Now for weapons, any crit or defense scaling polearms, which we will be getting a craftable defense polearm in 5.0, will be great on her. So you could give her a Favonius Lance, maybe even the deathmatch with crit rate. For 5 stars, the Skyward Spine is going to be, any 5-star with crit rate or crit damage is going to be great on her. I do want to mention a 3-star option for her, and that's going to be the White Tassel. With the low base attack, but she scales off defense, so that does not matter, but it does have a crit rate subset. Now the passive, you're really not going to use it, so this is only a stat stick for her. I would really go for the craftable weapon once we get into Natlan, but for now, use any crit or energy regen weapon. Now for team comps, she seems like a great character to use with other Geo characters like Chiori, Goru, and Ito, but you still want an elemental applicator to trigger crystallize if you do have constellations on her. One team I'm excited to try out is with her as a main DPS, Chiori, Goru, and maybe just a flex spot open for anybody that I want. If not, she fits on many team comps as more damage on the side, especially with her field being active, so you can run her with maybe even some elemental teams. She seems like a fun character, and she might be free as well, as we usually get a free character when a new region comes out. I'm really excited for her. Please comment down below if you are thinking of building her and how her kit is. If you have questions about that Night Soul state and I didn't explain it clearly, I kind of wanted to make it concise so it's easy to understand. Please comment down below, ask me questions. I am here for you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video.